All right. Oh. There we go. So, let's try to get some more stuff done today. We are still going through the combat phases. One second. Yeah, okay. I kind of want to rework position modifier for objects. Because I changed it to be a list. And quite frankly, I kind of hate it. I think it sucks. It's too complicated. Too much to keep track of and whatever. So I think instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something like this. It's a bit more... ham-fisted, I guess, but... I don't know what position modifiers I might need, but I feel like I want to do this instead. And instead we say this is modified position, right? So instead of this, I want to say turn vector 3 int dot floor to int internal position raw plus and then all of those that I just made. You know, something like this instead. And then just keep adding. Like whenever there's a modifier that we might need, I'll just add it here. Because having the list, it sucks so much ass because you have to remember like what is the source of each thing, when should you delete it, like all these kind of things. And it's just so annoying. It just becomes so overcomplicated. Like this. That should be all it needs to do. It's still a lot of modifiers, but I don't even know how many of these I need. There needs to be one for movement preview modifier. Something like that. This feels a lot better to me. Very blowy outside. I mean, this is wrong, right? No, it's not, because I changed it, didn't I? Yeah, it's now combat phase. Transition to combat scene. Start of combat. Wait, what am I doing here? Set combat phase. Start of combat. Enter unit placement mode. Placement base. This should be exit unit placement base. And this should be enter combat phase. And that does something. And exiting unit placement phase also does something. Reset unit position. What is this supposed to be? Clear unit temp movement. That's what we're gonna call it. And then we're gonna say target dot movement preview modifier equals 0. What else? Handle dual scene. So this should then be dual scene position modifier. Something like that. Movement tool. Yeah, see, this is bad here. I'm like deactivating the movement AP gauge here. Setting current object has done stuff here. Reset movement grid. Too many things are being done here. That should actually be combat phase. Enter combat phase, right? Here we also need public void enter movement execution phase. No, we just need to be... Let's see. Because here we have exit combat phase. Because we have set combat phase. And that just calls these. I kind of don't like that. Though it should be like that. But I actually don't like using methods and functions. Just because. I only like using functions and... Or just functions. Because they're the same thing. But I prefer using functions when it solves repetition. Because otherwise, in my opinion, it obfuscates the code. So I don't really like just using it, just to use it. Like here, for example, when we enter the unit placement phase, I don't think that's going to happen anywhere else. And in that case, I kind of wonder, should I do that here or... But I guess it's okay. But then we're now in movement execution. And then that needs to be like enter movement execution phase. Right? This is all in the wrong spot. Where are the errors? All the way up here? Ah, that's not right. What do we need to have here? Mouse controller. Here we generate the distance to move. And then set preview offset 0. Yeah, this... This is for the turn meter at the top. I think I'll move all of this, including that. And then we're gonna say main controller dot set combat phase movement execution. And we go back here and we say enter movement execution phase. We say these things. Current object dot current combat module has acted. Sure, we can do that here, I suppose. One day I will clear out some of this. These comments, no, not the comments, but the backup code. Okay. Now, I guess this doesn't really matter, but what? Movement execution. So command input. That would be that. So let's have this in enter movement execution phase, because these things might not be the case when we go from command input to dual transition, for example. Like, it might be different. All right. And we're no longer doing position modifier. Execute ability. Set command execution phase 1. So this is like dual transition, maybe. Not sure. Either way, let's just fix the critical errors. What's going on here? User.animation state. What is this? Triple stab. User.animation state. Oh. Right, I was trying to move combat movement. I was trying to move it in the combat module. I'm not sure if I want to do that. Yeah, this is the same, I just copied it. Right? Yeah. I don't know. I don't think anything is gonna work at all, but we can start it and see what happens. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Controller start. Huh? 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 There we go. Still. This might suck a gigantic ass. It says cannot be loaded. It says missing. And that's because it's... Oof. This might be bad. Because I changed the name of it. That's supposed to be main controller. Oh, how are there still errors? There's no error. There are actually no errors. Ooh. Yeah, that's not great. That is kind of what I was expecting. But let's see if we can fix it. maybe not. This is also something I hate with Unity, because you can set so many things in the editor, and if that breaks, that's like bye bye. That's why it's so much better when you have everything set, like hard set in code, because it's not gonna break some fucking meta file. I cannot wait to work in monogame instead of Unity. So let's see. Yeah, no, unfortunately it contains the exact same shit. And that's it. So there's not even a meta file that contains what it contained. It's just contained in some dog shit cache file that's called like 2136BDE 400. What if we search for the GUID? No items match your search. That's badass. So that backup only has assets. What about this one? Nope. Nope. No hits on the idea. All right. Hello, Puring. How's it going? But I have an idea. This does suck gigantic ass, but I can try doing this. Oh, it's on a hard drive. Wait, I saved it here. Temp project backup. What if we open that? Wait, which one did it add? Temp project backup. That one. Because this was the backup I made in order to make this change. But it might not be able to show. All right. It doesn't need to run or work, it just needs to compile. We just comment out all of the critical errors. Is that enough? There we go. Right. We do this shit manually. Might be able to. Might have been able to copy, but I'm not so sure. Not gonna bother trying to figure out if I can. Bro. Please. Oh, it works. Thank you, God. I don't want to remake 24 light stencils. First one. Teaching myself for the last couple of months. I have a question regarding setting up characters for multiplayer game in Unity. I have no clue. I have not done multiplayer. Unit counter. Placement. Base. Fixed. PMP. Okay. Which one? Fourth from the bottom. Sweet. That one. Didn't work. Zero. Hard window, 0. Cloud mask. Berlin. Command type sprites. Did it work? Yes. Perhaps. I hope so. Yeah. Here we have some camera stuff too. There. Are we happy? Seems to run. I do want to undo everything I changed. Because this is a backup. And I don't want the backup to look like it doesn't have any errors when there are tons of errors. Alright. So let's see. Where do things go wrong now? Well, shadows don't work. Like off the bat. There. Because they weren't enabled. Simple as. Alright, so entering combat mode doesn't work because I haven't set up the button. It should be an update. Regular update. Something like that. I just want to see if I can make it work at all. It's so much easier to program when you can run into issues and not just like programming in the dark. It does work, but it takes like forever. It takes an entire second. I think there's an issue there. And I'm pretty sure I know what the problem is. Right, we have an error there. Core data. Mouse controller. We're creating a new OS that takes unit placement. This needs to be true. This is combat mode. Hello, Lauren. I'm doing a lot of things at the same time, but I've reworked a lot of stuff. And now I'm just trying to get the game to actually work again. So I'm just going through everywhere where it gives me grief now. Huh? Why is it throwing an error? So now I'm trying to re-implement my combat mode. And I'm trying to structure it better where the combat update is sectioned into phases, where you have like, you know, transition to combat phase, you have movement phase, attack phase, you know, all of these things. So it's just all in order and easy to grasp. And I just got it to run the code without having critical errors everywhere. So now I'm just trying to figure out what it is complaining about. Object not set to an instance of an object. What are you talking about? What am I missing? Is it this? Let's look at the database. RIA. This is RIA. Wait, is it actually the combat module that's... No. I think it's this. It is not quite right. This needs to say something like, if core data module is not equal no, then data module else no. And same thing here, core data animation module else no. If core data behavior module is not equal no, else no. Now combat module, this is a little different, but it's kind of still the same. It's if combat mode is true, then we're gonna say the thing there. Then it's not equal no. Else no. Right. Let's see if we can structure this one a bit so it feels like it makes more sense. Those two are like that. But it also needs to be the same down here. All right, let's try again. G can be placed. E can be placed. Error. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. In combat update. 231. Object combat module. Does it not have a reference to main controller, maybe? But again, this shouldn't have to be here. When it says main controller up here somewhere, here, this should just be able to be this. Right here. And see, this is what I mean. when you can actually run the game, it's so much easier to find things to do. Because you can just try doing something that you want to do, and then if it doesn't work, then you figure out why it doesn't work, and then you fix it. And we just got an error there, Pathfinder, from mousing over him. Draw a dynamic grid. Why is it drawing a dynamic grid? Target tool. Why are you doing this? If mouse mode dot target selection does not equal 0. This is strange. See, right now, it runs fine. But if I mouse over Rhea, it's fine. If I mouse over this guy, it crashes. So if I mouse over the current character, it crashes. Same thing with Rhea. Yeah, there's some issue here. So what's happening is that for some reason action to trigger is not null? I need to breakpoint here, I feel like. Huh? Is what's happening. And I don't really know why. I'm actually gonna go check. But what's happening is that for some reason, when you target yourself, it crashes. I don't really see why it would do that. But I also don't really... This part of the mouse feels really rough. Just put it over there. Maybe the mouse mode hasn't been changed properly. Because it's doing target. And it should be doing check mouse target. So as we exit placement mode. Exit unit placement phase. Then we're gonna say mouse mode equals mouse mode dot none. There isn't really a zero. Let's just try that. Because I think the mouse was simply in the wrong mode. Oh, it still crashes. Mouse mode equals 0. See, we're entering combat phase, and it's setting mouse mode to be menu and target selection. And that's fine. But menu and target selection. That means target tool is gonna run. But here, for example, this should return here. Because mousing over something, like, it shouldn't be doing anything, because action to trigger should be null. It's not saying action to trigger. No, it is. This is it. The name of action to trigger is null. Aww. What the fuck? This is like the only time action to trigger is set. It is the only time it's set. Here I'm setting it to null even. I'm nulling it here. On start it's nulled. So how can nulling it It's already, for whatever reason, it's already set. But it's not actually being set anywhere. Let's take a look here. Maybe it's bugged. It might be bugged here. For whatever reason. I don't know where it is here though. I don't know if it'll even show up. It might not. There it is. This is the reason? I hate Unity. I hate Unity. Alright. Hello, Albine. I'm doing alright. How are you doing? So what's happening here? We have to go and, or we can say go to definition, right? What's happening is that this, because this is public, Unity is serializing it. And because it's serializing it, that means that it's not null. But it's really weird too, because I was setting it to be null. What if we say non-serialized, like that? What now? Yeah, now it works. Why not have it private? Yeah, I was using a setter to set it, but now I did make a function, so I guess we can make it private instead of non-serialized. Well, no, because I need to access it from other places. So let's just keep it public. I hate using private. It's like, there are like 0 cases where I prefer using private. It's one of those things that I feel is probably bad, but it's also like, I don't really feel it's that useful. I can have a function, that's true, but does it matter? It's like the same thing, right? So it's just, I have '65 references I'd have to change. A little. So what I can do is we can go back to this, right? And then we say we uncomment that, and then we comment the setter. And that way, we have a getter and we set it with this. All right. What can we find next? Because I don't think... Apparently, the transition there actually works. So... Also, this is busted. Both of these say move, but that should not be the case. Moving doesn't work. Reference set not set to an instance. Temp pos modifier. Yeah. This should be... like that. Holy shit! Oh, so fast! But right now, these buttons are wrong. Why are the buttons wrong? But we can finalize moves. I can't use barrier though. End turn. Dual transition. Right, so we're going to dual transition. But that's because it shouldn't go there. So end turn button. It does main controller dot end turn. What does end turn do? It does combat phase equals dual transition. That's not right. End of turn. That's what that should say. But combat phases aren't set like that. They're set with set combat phase turn. And combat phase, let's see all the places where we are setting it. Execute ability. Set combat phase. action execution. Set combat phase to turn progression. I don't know why combat. Maybe. Okay, we can now end the turn again. We can move. We can end. We could not end turn. Welcome back. Now it got fixed. Now we're on to the next problem. I'm not calling init. I think that might be it. Because all of these lists are null. Assuming that Ria's combat module actually calls init, which it does. I'm gonna take a little break soon. I'm gonna give it a few. Still. I need to go to the grocery store. I need to pick up my new graphics card. Alright. End turn seems to work. Which means first I just need to figure out why this says move when it's supposed to say something else. This is really weird. Waiting for my new SSD. Oh, nice. Yeah, running anything off an HDD nowadays is just horrible. The only thing I run off a hard drive is like music. That's it. Like, this is so weird. It has to be... It has to be here. Combat menu. Something here got bugged out. When I set these things again. Let's see. AP gauge, that's alright. Combat move button. Yeah. That's the one that got messed up. I honestly don't even know why that's a reference here. But whatever. Yeah, now it says command. So what happens if I try to use a barrier? Doesn't work. Oh, it actually crashed there. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Yeah, we need to say if to trigger does not equal null. No, it already says that. It's this. Needs to be there. Alright, it actually almost worked. It cast the barrier. It did the transition into casting the barrier. And then it transitioned out of casting the barrier. But it's not finishing. Like, it's not actually casting it, and it's not finishing it. Alright. I think that's a pretty good spot to finally actually get somewhere. But yeah, I should go and grab that GPU. I don't want to install a new GPU. Oh. If I'm unlucky, I might get rain too. Alright, well, I'll be back in like 30 minutes. So yeah, see you soon. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, we're back. Hello, Simper. Doubt you're there though. But for shame, I ordered from the wrong company. This company doesn't send a piece of candy with you with the order. For shame. Made in China? Oh, nice. Comes with a GPU and nothing else. Right. Sweet. Love it. A new GPU that is exactly the same as the one I have, except it has less RAM. My current one is bugged, so it crashes the computer all the time when I'm using it. So I bought a 4060 instead, which is actually slightly more powerful than the one I had, which was a 7600 XT. But the XT has more VRAM. Has twice as much VRAM, I think. This supposed to come off too? Can't tell. I think so. Mode PQ. Yeah, remove film. Trying to. Like impossible, dude. There we go. There's film here. Could remove these. And now, what I also need to do is I need to replace both of my GPUs, because I have two GPUs. I have a At least I think so. I don't think the drivers will work. But I have an NVIDIA that's an older card, but it's a discrete card, so it's silent. It doesn't have a fan. And I use it to have extra monitors. But the fun part is that for both NVIDIA and AMD cards, the driver packages only support a certain range of cards. So if you buy like an older shitty card, it's not supported by the driver package. And you can't install 2 AMD packages, you can't install 2 NVIDIA packages, you can't customize it. You can, but it requires like writing manual driver packages, and I don't have what it takes for that. So what I do is I install one NVIDIA card and one AMD card to get around that. And so far the drivers haven't had any conflict issues. It's just like the AMD drivers are just shit and just crashes. And it's super common with the 7600 RX as well, or XT. But yeah, that's all the plastic. Put it here on my table next to a soda can. Alright, so where are we? Try to make the spell work? I honestly don't know what else, like... I felt like I jumped ahead. I felt like I was in the middle of fixing things. But everything works. So I don't know what to fix. So I think we're just gonna focus on getting the skill to work for now. Because it doesn't. And why is of that? Dude, where did my bookmarks go? Bookmarks are supposed to be over here. So here's barrier. I love being able to do funks like this. This is so good. It completely changed how I work, I feel like. This needs to be done somewhere else, I feel like. So the way this works right now is we are doing handle casting animation. And moving this is gonna suck though. Alright, so we move this over here. And then we go to main controller. And it's on the tip of my brain. It's in the mouse controller. I think. Yeah, okay, so this whole thing, command execution phase, I want to get rid of. I don't like it. But I do need to have something similar. Because here we have movement execution, then we have dual transition, action execution. So this one, it should be something like something like that. I don't really like the name, but what else could I call it? Because it's not really action initialization. It's more like pre-combat logic. Pre-action. Whatever. Well, what this is gonna do is it's gonna say if action to trigger does not equal null, and then it's gonna say if action to trigger dot cast time is greater than 0, then this is where we're gonna handle spell casting. And here it needs to do something like current turn dot unit dot so what I want to do, getting a little brain fried here, but what I want to do is we are in command input, right? So we select the command or we move or we select a command. If we move, then we transition into movement execution, and then we transition back to command input. And if we select a command that's an attack, then before we switch over to command, like, that's where we need to figure out what we're gonna do. And that's why I need a phase that will be used to determine what we're doing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna transition from command input into action initialization, and that's gonna check the action that we're trying to execute, and it's gonna look at it and check, is it a spell? I don't 100% know exactly what details are needed, but I have two specific I have two specific things right now. No, I have more. But it's basically is spell and has cast time. The reason I have both is because I wasn't sure if I would ever make like a melee ability have a cast time. Or if that would just be a spell or whatever. Because I don't think it really makes sense for melee attacks to have cast time. That's not really how anything works in reality. So the action initialization would check whether it's a spell, and then it would set the character to be in cast animation or in cast state, and that would make the unit play its cast animation, and then it would transition to end turn, and it would end the turn, because that's what casting something does. But if it's not a spell, then it would check if it has a dual component, which I don't know if all attacks will. Right now, that's the plan. And if it has a dual aspect, then it will immediately trigger the dual transition by simply switching to the dual transition combat phase. And then that would play out, and then the dual transition will switch over to combat to action execution, and the action will be executed. And that's what I'm trying to get away from. Because right now, the casting animation, a lot of it is handled inside of the action itself. And I don't want that. That code should be ran somewhere else. Maybe in the combat module, maybe. And we manage a final push. The break hasn't been working that well for me recently. Like I go to take a break, and when I come back, it's just like it's over and anyway. But let's try. See here, all I want to be able to do is say current turn.unit dot like set casting or something. And that would be in object. And we need to have like public void set as casting. I think this should take an integer or something. But I'm just gonna say int casting animation equals 0. And I barely know how I'm actually setting the character to cast as it is. So I kind of am not. So I removed a lot of the animation stuff I was doing. So I feel like I just want to say if combat module does not equal null, then combat module is casting equals true. Oh yeah, this is a 1. And that should be it. That might actually be enough. This, I think I might have set it already. Oh, Harukai. Yeah, I played a lot of Vintage Story already, actually. It's got potential. It's definitely got more potential than Minecraft, because that's a dead game. I'm waiting for them to add more stuff, though. Last patch was mostly just cosmetic stuff, and like a horse. I don't want this to be a byte. Let's set this to be an enum. And let's make an enum. Nah. Let's do big C. I was looking at Minecraft mods to play with the group. It's almost impossible to bother with mods for Minecraft, in my opinion. It's such a clusterfuck. Because every single patch that they release for Minecraft is like on purpose incompatible. Like, even if they literally just add like a salamander, it breaks every single mod. And because of that, there are so many mods that don't get updated that putting like together a mod package yourself is a nightmare. And if you go with another mod package, you end up with like 800 mods, and the game just turns into a total clusterfuck. And like nothing makes sense. Vintage Story also needs mods in my opinion, but you need a lot less. And it does have better backwards compatibility with older mods. Like, some mods will break, but not all of them. Like, there's an archery mod that was really good. That one was necessary for me, at least, to have. Because the basic archery is fucking awful. Server config simply forgets its settings. I haven't only played single player, so I don't know. I haven't had any run-ins with that. I just turn off temporal storms because I think they're dumb. Temporal storms are... they're like cute in the beginning, but then when they start spawning monsters that like one-shot you, and they spawn like anywhere, even inside your house, so you have to literally put yourself in a casket of dirt until they disappear, they just become unfun. And that happens with time, so it's like a race against time. Sorry if this is a spoiler, but so if you're not like progressing fast enough, it just starts spawning more and more and more and bigger enemies. And so the entire game just becomes a rush. Otherwise you just can't do anything. And you just end up like, oh, temporal storm, then you just bury yourself and then you go AFK for 10 minutes until it goes away. So I just turned it off because it was kind of pointless. It's not a very good mechanic. I feel like they kind of just forced it in. I do think that they should have something, but they need to figure out something that actually makes the game challenging or more enjoyable. Which I hope they manage to figure out. Is it infinite spawns until the storm is over? I think so. You can farm stuff with it. Like if you can fight them. But for me, I was playing it on like hardcore mode, solo, with like extra damage and stuff, which I did turn down because it was ridiculous. I also made a couple of like custom mods. I did want to make a mod for it, but I don't like modding. It takes so much time that I could be like just programming a video game instead. I made one mod mainly, which was reducing the movement speed of bears. Because otherwise you can't run away from bears. They will always kill you if you don't kill them. And they have like an aggro radius of like 30 tiles or something. It's massive. So I made them slower so you can actually get away from them. Otherwise they will always kill you. Because you can't run away unless you like glitch them in water or something. Then you can kind of get away. If you stick them a bit or use a torch, they run away. Okay. For me, it's just been I'm walking around and then all of a sudden I hear like a bear and then he one-shots me in like 1 millisecond. That's what that was my experience. Yeah, it's been a while since I played. Let's see here. I fucked up the rename and now I have like a million errors. But that's okay. Have you ever heard of Worm? Yeah, I've heard it. I played it. It's really bad. I did kind of enjoy it for a bit though. But the game is extremely rough. I would not recommend it. I didn't play Unlimited though. I played on the online version servers. But Unlimited is just... It's basically like an RO server that they're selling. So it's the same game. I don't know if there's even a patch difference. There might be. But it's just that you can host your own server. Otherwise, I think the game is exactly the same. But if you play on the online servers, it's like the entire world just looks like, you know, those place-a-dot games that were popular like 10 years ago? Like the websites where you place dots and people like draw things. That's what the game is like, except you have to pay money to have like a little area that only you can draw on. And because of that, the entire world just becomes like this clusterfuck of like super ugly dog shit like player built things. And it's almost impossible to play single player too. But it can be like okay-ish if you play it with friends. But the game is still like super archaic and super basic. But basically, like if you want to make an iron mine and you want to find iron, if you're alone and you're doing that, it's gonna take you like an entire afternoon to dig out a tiny little mine, and maybe if you're lucky, you'll find an iron vein or something. Because it takes so long to destroy one rock block. You're standing there for literally like 2 hours. It takes absolutely forever. And the game doesn't really have any content beyond building a house. It has like some bosses, but people just like get together and then they like chuck some spears at it and then it dies. Let's see what happens now. I don't think any of that really changes anything, but we can try. Yeah, and you're so weak too that early in the beginning. Okay, so the animation is still not triggering. Because I didn't set this here. Set command execution phase 1, mouse mode. Yeah, this needs to be action initialization. Yeah, you're so ridiculously weak that for the most part, when you're out trying to do something, if you see like a dog or something that's going to attack you, you basically have to run to a tower so that the guards can kill it. And furthermore, there's like bears and shit, like evil demon dogs like everywhere. That you definitely have to run to the guards to get killed. If action to trigger dot cast time. Have tactics? No. This is Breath of Fire. Breath of Fire 5. It's kind of close. Breath of Fire 5, also known as Dragon Quarter. The game that killed the franchise. It was so bad. It was actually kind of novel, but it was not what anyone in the like, no one in the fan base wanted it. Because it wasn't at all what any of the other games were. But it's definitely actually one of the most unique games, or RPGs. I don't even know if I want to call it that. Yeah, more or less. Because it's like meant to be replayed over and over. Which is kind of weird. So the one you gotta reset and get Dragon Class something. I don't really know. I only finished it once because I didn't think the game was actually particularly good, so I didn't really like play it again. But if you reuse Dragon Form too much, you get like a permanent bar that goes up, and if you reach a value that's too high, you get a permanent game over. It just ends the run. So it's like the one thing that the entire franchise is about, which is like Ryu transforming into dragons. It's like if you use it, you lose the game. You're supposed to, like, I get the idea. Like, you're supposed to only use it in emergencies, pretty much. But it also is just not fun, because that's what you want to do. Hello, Rapier. Good morning. Let's check if Barrier has cast time. It doesn't. Let's give it cast time. Also, it's not a spell, which is also incorrect. Alright, let's try. Alright. It's actually progressing the turn now. But that's it. You remove the... oh, yeah. Alright. Yeah, that's rough. I guess it makes sense the way it didn't heal. Did he lose any of his ear in the process? It lost its interior, yeah. Yeah, I figured. It's so thin. Poor fella. Malignant. Yeah. You know, cats are not very smart, so he'll be as long as it heals, he'll be fine. Hmm. Alright, so let's see here. Here we have progress turn. Handle dual scene. This is in the wrong place. Maybe? Is it? Maybe it's not. Yeah, here. This is action execution. This is where I want to say current turn dot unit dot combat module dot action to trigger dot execute dot behavior. What does init dual scene do? Okay. Then handle dual scene. Something like that. Alright, dude. Enjoy your lunch. Alright, this should be really close to working, but I think that's it for me today. And it's not close to working, because the barrier spell itself still needs to be modified to actually work. Like, it's... We're correctly, like, going into its... Yeah, see, it's not doing anything, but it's correctly running the behavior for barrier, and it's going in and running barriers. Like, it's even created a barrier object, setting its sprite and stuff. But the initialize and the action, or the behavior or the command itself, does not work with my current setup. So things need to be... I need to fix the barrier now. Like here. The initialization here needs to be fixed. I don't think it's really that wrong. But there are things wrong here for sure. Like, I'm still doing combat handle casting animation here. I thought I removed that. And I also want to point out that we're not actually handling casting animations. And I'm still using the command execution phase, which I don't know if I need anymore. I shouldn't. Because what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to move things out of the action that shouldn't be handled by it. Like the transition in and out of combat, the dimming of the screen, transitioning in and out of like casting animations and stuff like that. Should be handled outside. And then the behavior should just be like, when we transition from the casting animation to like ending the casting animation, when that ends, that's when behavior should start running. And it should just run the effect of the action, right? There's a lot of stuff to get rid of there, and also to fix, because casting needs to be a phase. Is it? I have dual transition, action execution. So here we actually need a casting end of casting or something like that. And that's gonna be handled by action initialization. Because whenever we get to the point where we need to decide what are we doing right now, it's going to analyze the action that is trying to trigger, and then it's going to send it off to dual transition, end of casting, action execution, or whatever, or just like end of turn or something. And if it's, because some spells might have like a casting animation that start and end immediately, and then it's just going to go directly from here to end of casting, and then we'll wait for the animation to finish playing, and then we go to action execution. That's the idea there. Alright, well, that'll be enough for today. And yeah, thanks for hanging. I'll see you around.